Going to be a tad bit more cinematic than what they were in the past, which just everything's about visual arts, and when you're watching something, and the more I don't know how to explain it. If you're playing in a band with a guitar and a bass and a drum, you have a nice basic band. They put out great music, and that's what the iPhones and the iPhone software did. If you're a country band or whatever. But
dogs
barking in the background, and we gotta take it and roll. But if you take that same country band and you add a mandolin or add a banjo or a steel guitar, that mandolin, that banjo, and that steel guitar, that's elements that just kind of bring that music up another level.
Yeah.
Same thing with this software. We're able to kind of bring it up to another level in the editing part. Now, we're still going to shoot it in iPhone, but we will edit it in Premiere Pro.
We need to keep continuing. I think it's good for us to continue. Those phones are capable. I mean, you guys got to realize there's a term iPhoneography out now in the photography community. That's a legitimate deal. There's people running photography businesses with iPhones.
Doing weddings.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, man. So, yeah, you guys, the guys that are contacting me asking, if we're being serious, A, we are being serious, and B, you don't have to have state-of-the-art red cameras to get into videography. You guys think outside the box, man. Use what you got available to you. Prove to everybody whatever you have as a device. Prove to everybody what it's capable of. I guarantee it's more than you think it is.
Well, after Shiner and I graduated from New York University Film School, which means YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because literally there's everything out there to teach you how to do this. Teach you different angles, teach you techniques, slowing down your frame rate, raising your frame rate, being able to go in and manipulate your iPhone so you can set the f-stop and the ISO and all sorts of stuff.
Learn about LUTs and, presets and LUTs and, I mean, all that crazy. You guys got to realize, too, when we started using this, and they don't pay us, we don't have to mention them or anything, but we're using Adobe Premiere Pro. So when we started using that, I knew zero about it. I had kind of messed with it. It's not real user-friendly. There's a lot of Windows-based products you can kind of fake your way through. Not this stuff. So literally putting... I want to say the music video was probably the first time we used it and got it in somebody else's hands. I was literally YouTubing step by step how to use this stuff. That's how I taught myself.
And literally, we are teaching ourselves every single day something new. And when we do that, it raises our game. Now, let's take this all the way back to stuff that we've talked about in the past on following your dreams and positivity. This is one of those steps that you've got to do to make that dream come true. You've got to hustle. You've got to learn. You got to spend every day learning something new about what you're going to do, because if you're going to be the best at it, you got to know what everybody else is doing. You got to know how to do it.
You got to just accept the fact that you got to get out of your comfort. If we would have stayed in our comfort zone, we would have not accomplished any of the stuff that we have up to this point. And I'm not saying we've done anything that's going to change the world by any means. No. But we definitely even accomplished what we have. We're not where we want to be. And, it's chasing big dreams. You got to get outside your comfort zone. And, man, teaching myself this stuff, I don't like dealing with stuff that I'm not proficient in. So this has been a hard step for me to take, I mean, I'd much rather, but I know using it now, I'm even faster than I was. And it's just all about getting out of your comfort zone and teaching yourself something new.
Yeah. The more that I learn, because I spend most of my time behind the camera, and the more that I learn on getting the good shot the first time, the less time we have to spend filming and the more time we can get onto another project. So every single time that we do this, and of course there's practice. Shiner's out all the time shooting B-roll film just because. Mm-hmm. I'm pulling my video camera out or my iPhone on the video setting and trying to figure out ways that I can get extreme low angle shot or a bird's eye view shot, which is one of the hardest things to do with an iPhone because you can't see what you're doing. And
actually, there's a lot that goes into this. I got just the message. Last much time to take to put one of these episodes together. It's easily way more in depth than I thought it was going to be walking into it. And I thought we had taught ourselves a pretty good amount about this stuff walking into it. When looking back, I had no idea it was going to be this time consuming.
Yeah, hustling on it pretty hard. It takes 2 weeks, start to finish.
Yeah,
but you got to in the editing room. We'll spend a day shooting it, and literally 13 days editing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no kidding.
Once you get the storyline together in video, then it goes sound design takes on voiceover and sound, and that's it. And then once we get everything laid in there, then we both have we both take the time to watch it, and we might tweak it a couple times before we post it. But yeah, it's a 2-week deal, and that's if all the planets align themselves just right. We can get it out in 2 weeks.
Exactly, and we'll get better at it. Not saying that we're going to be getting to the point where we'll put out an episode every week. That's unrealistic. We like to put this show out for you guys to enjoy, and we're very proud of it. We don't make any money on this show. We make a little bit of money on sponsorship, but if somebody were paying us to make these shows at each one of these places, we're talking $4,000-$5,000 an episode.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we're missing out on doing this. So the more astute we can get at this, and the faster we can get at this, the more we can actually go do commercial stuff and make some money. Because that's our dream. We like putting on the show. We're very proud of the show. And we love the show, and that's the thing that really started this whole thing. Actually, the podcast kind of kicked it. But
I was going to say, no, I think I disagree with that. I think the podcast is what got this whole thing rolling.
Right. And Zach, I honestly need to get on here and thank Zach. We used to have a podcast with Zach. We kind of were going a different direction than Zach, and we parted ways. And because of parting ways, we're where we're at today. And so, thanks, Zach, for teaching us some stuff and giving us a little bit of a start. I know the divorce on the podcast was kind of messy for a little while, but he's become very successful doing news scripts and news articles. Yeah, and we're doing this. So you never know what's going to come around. I never thought I would be dreaming about commercial video production and commercial audio production and consulting. Mine's like, when am I going to get that GTO?
Yeah.
And now, kind of realize, man, this dream is taken off. It really is. So for all of you people who watch 420 Eats, thank you very much for being a patron of that show. For everybody who listens to podcast, thank you very much for being a listener. You guys kind of drive us to keep going further. And so you never know what we're going to put out next. But I can tell you 420 Eats is not going to be going anywhere.
No, that's going to be something we continue to do.
It grew. It's pretty cool when you can walk into, being based out of Tulsa. If you happen to be in, say, I don't know, Yukon, Oklahoma, and you walk into a dispensary to replace a vape cartridge, and they tell you that the vape pen is actually the thing that's broken. And then the guy comes out of the back and says, "You're that guy from the 428 show."
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yukon, Oklahoma, of all places. So
of all places, man. Yeah, they nice people that own that joint, and so that's called the. Actually, I'm going to give them a shout out. That's called the place is called the Green Lily, and it's in Yukon, Oklahoma. So if you guys need some medicinal weed, and pay those folks a visit. Super nice folks, man. But yeah, man, this thing kind of grew legs. So we're going to continue to do it. It's a kick in the pants. I know we've met a lot of cool people in the episodes we've done. We've ate a lot of really good food, and I mean, I think everybody we've encountered up to this point, I mean, we could probably walk right in, and have conversations on a friend level rather than a business level. Got some cool people doing these shows.
Yeah, and another thing about if you're dreaming business and being successful, contacts are everything. Business contacts mean everything. If you surround yourself with good people who know more about this little thing than you do, and this one knows more about this part of it, if you can surround yourself with those kind of people, my gosh, anytime you need advice, they're there for you.
Well, there was a meme I saw recently. It's not these exact words, but it conveys the same message. It was like, you can't do epic shit with mediocre people, So, and I'm like, dude, that's like some people don't know. Like, oh, what's keeping me down, man? Everything's keeping me down. No, it's the people you're surrounding yourself with that are keeping you down. Like,
exactly.
Surround yourself with successful people that are going. Don't surround yourself with a bunch of knuckleheads that kind of figuring things out in life still. Surround yourself with people that are successful, man, and that stuff will bleed off onto you.
Oh, sure.
They'll pull you up. They'll pull you up with them. But yeah, you cannot do epic shit with mediocre people. That's when we've had some people contact the show because we actually were spitballing one night and we're like, we should do another episode on do epic shit and live for the greater good. And so we're probably that'll probably be in the podcast here in the near future. We're gonna do that. I think a couple of people want us to do the conspiracy show, so we should probably put that together.
Yeah, we got to throw together a conspiracy show for sure. And,
that's probably.
We're actually going to add a segment to the podcast, which I think might be a little bit fun. So I'm going to spin this wheel here. We've got a bunch of actors and actresses on it.
Oh, you're going to pick one for us? Oh, so this is up to the spinach of the wheel.
Yeah, it's a digital wheel on my phone.
Okay.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds it is. So what are we doing? What are we doing with Burt Reynolds?
Man, he's
is this what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah. I think...
wow.
I think the earliest movie I remember Burt Reynolds in was Deliverance. I'm sure he did some movies before that, but I think that's the earliest one I remember.
I think that was his breakout movie.
I think so.
If I remember right. Yeah.
Hairy chest and all. Yeah. But it's been a long time since I've seen it. So Shiner and I are going to watch the movie Deliverance sometime this week. And we'll get back with you next podcast and give our movie review about it. And trust me, we'll make it funny. We'll be writing down bullet points during the movie to talk about. So,
I love that it's Burt Reynolds, man. That's like we've talked about. Oh, that was on when we were on the old podcast. We talked Burt's passing and how it affected us.
Oh man,
what a hero he was to us. This is kind of cool that the first movie Reynolds flick.
Yeah, and speaking of passing away, any gearheads out there who are into automobilia and racing. If you remember watching a show called Overhauling, there's every year at the Barrett-Jackson auction, she was always there and showcasing cars. Her name was Jessie Combs, 36 years old, and she was a mechanic, went to Wyatech. Very pretty girl. The only girl I know that had stars tattooed in her armpits.
Oh, no, I've seen it done before.
You have to look that one up. That looks painful, dude.
Oh, I couldn't sit through that.
But she was in a jet car on a dry lake bed. I guess it was yesterday. And crashed a car.
Chasing the land speed.
Yeah.
Man, God, I hate to hear that, man. Rest in peace to Jessie, and, man, condolences to her family and friends.
Yeah, for sure. Because as a chick... And, guys typically don't look up to women as kind of a role model. But I kind of looked up to her, man, because she's like the first breakout female mechanic that knew what the hell she was doing.
Yeah,
and kind of did the crossover thing with the TV and everything else and hosting and anything that she was in. First off, she was pretty, so she had the pretty face. Secondly, when she talked, you knew what the hell she was talking about because she knew what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And third, she could do it better than anybody else. So,
hell of a fabricator, man. Hell of a fabricator. Gee.
Mechanic could build an engine with their eyes closed. I mean, just that's a shame.
Very impressive.
Very shame.
Yeah.
Big loss to the automobile community for sure. Let's see. There's a couple things we got to cover real quick before we go.